Season 5 then with Southampton begins. Season 1, we finished 15th. Season 2, we climbed up to 12th. Season 3 was 9th. Season 4 was 8th. And more importantly, qualified us for European competition. We are in the Europa Conference League this season. Season 5, I'm hoping for an improvement in the league and a very good cup run. I think that's what we want to be hoping for. If we can kind of get through the group stages, I feel like we should be good enough to get to like the semi-final, maybe even the final of the Europa Conference League, but we will see how things go. Even though it is the 1st of July, the transfer window has already opened and we have spent some money. We've brought in a fair few players. We were also over our wage budget, but we've got nearly £70 million in our transfer budget, so we can rejig some if we need to do that. First up, leaving the club then is Kostas Tsimikas, the 31-year-old Greek left-back formerly of Liverpool, has moved on to Brighton. He was out of contract at the end of the current season, Season 5. He's moved over for £24.5 million, possibly going up to 30. That is a huge, huge profit for a player who's done all right for us over the last 2.5 seasons. Unfortunately, on the other end of the scale was Juan Larios, who's moved over to Derby County on a free transfer. We brought him in for $6 million apparently, and we've lost him on a free after his contract expired. The fact that he's dropped down to the Championship to play for Derby kind of confuses me, because I was happy to play him in the first team, but he didn't want to. Joining the club then on a free transfer, Tyler Morton, formerly of Liverpool. His contract expired. We've picked him up. He's come in to basically give us a little bit of squad depth. Archie Brown, the England under-21 or former England under-21 footballer, has signed from Ghent after his contract has expired. I've never heard of this man. Apparently he plays for Ghent in real life. We brought him in on a free transfer. I think he's pretty good. He's been brought in basically to kind of provide some competition in that left-back position, especially now that Kostas Tsimikas has left. And also joining on a free transfer is Nathan Trott, 28-year-old English goalkeeper, signed from Copenhagen, formerly of West Ham. In the older Football Managers, when he was like 23, he had loads of potential but never hit it because he never got any game time. In this, he's been playing obviously in Denmark, and he's all right. He's not playing a huge amount of football. We brought him in to be our third-choice goalkeeper. Is he good? Probably not. The board were frustrated, the fans were furious, but he's not going to play for us, so it doesn't matter. Somebody who is probably going to get some game time for us is Vinicius Tobias, a 23-year-old Brazilian right-back, signed from Shakhtar. I think he had a season on loan. He did have a season on loan, apparently, playing for Middlesbrough. He's cost £14.5 million, possibly going a little bit higher, I believe. We've also got one more player, and that is Maxime Esteve, might be his name, signed from Burnley, formerly of Montpellier. He's come in for £20 million. It's a lot of money, but I think he's a very good central defender. He definitely bolsters that back four. I'm good. I'm happy with this signing. We might not need to do too much more transfer business throughout the rest of the summer. I say that now. Watch me spend £50 million on about 4 different players. So yeah, that is the business so far. We are obviously in 4 competitions this year. The Premier League, the Europa Conference League, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. And I'm thinking what I might try and do is try and slim this squad down. We've got a lot of players at the moment. I will obviously be sending a whole bunch of these out on loan, most likely to Turkey, but a lot of these players will be going out on loan. But I kind of want to keep a nice trimmed down squad, 2 to 3 players for every position. So maybe no more than 25 players in the entire first team. Might be a stupid thing though if we're going for a little bit of a European adventure. Let's jump forward then to the end of the summer transfer window. Let's see what strengthening we have done, and let's hope that we've started the season off well as well. We normally do things the other way round and we talk about the players leaving first, but we're going to talk about the players joining first because it's one. It is Maximo Perrone, who has signed from Manchester City for £7 million. He's been brought in for more squad depth. Basically, this is all the transfer business we have done joining the club. Leaving the club, there's been a fair bit of players, a lot of them though, on loans. One of the bigger names to go and the more expensive players is Albert Sambi Lokonga. He has gone over to Leeds United for a possibly 15 million, might be going a little bit higher to £16.5 million for a player who joined on a free, didn't really play massive amounts of football, quite a few of them, in fact 15 of his matches of his 20 league games were off the subs bench. That's very good profit for a free transfer. Juan Santos has left the club. He's gone back to his native Brazil for £2 million, played once for us, wasn't very good. Thierry Rohart Brown has moved on to Stoke. He joined from Reading in real life. We've sent him out on loan multiple times. He's gone for £1.1 million. Abdul Halim Okonola Matthews, sure, that's easy enough for me to say. He has moved over to Swansea for just under £1 million. Tevin Myers has moved over to Bournemouth for probably too much money, if I'm honest, for £5.5 million, possibly going up to £6 million. They must know something about him that I don't know, because I think he might have potential, but he's just not improving. And Mies Hilgers has left the club signing for Fulham. I think this was our biggest sale at 18.5, possibly going up to £23 million. We have trimmed down the squad, but that's not all we've done by selling. We've also loaned out a whole load of players. I've also probably missed some players who've gone out on permanent deals. So if we go from literally here, so actually let's sort by where they've gone to. Probably easier. So ADO Den Haag, probably should mention this. They're our new feeder club. I asked them in the summer and they went, sure, here's a list of teams. And I went, let's go for a team in the Netherlands. So they have picked up Kanda, Dickey, Fry, Cyber and Horncastle on loan deals. Then we've got Billy Barker to Bristol. We've got John Hadley also to Bristol, but the other one, Gavin Bazunu, going to Burnley. I didn't see a position for him in our squad, so we've got rid of him. Might be a terrible thing to do. Eastleigh have picked up Aaron Evans and Silla Debaga. We've also got Cam Bragg and Dobson Ventura, who've gone over to FC Rapid in Romania. Katongo, Amoameo, Ballard, Buck, Gorieb and Akachukwu have gone over to Turkey to sign for Göztepe. Barnaby Williams to Mansfield. Baranja has gone to Middlesbrough. Traore has gone to Reims. Fernandez has gone to Stoke. Valenciennes have picked up Daly, Skibber and Dipepa. And Enis Poulon has gone on loan to Wolves. This one is actually earning us a lot of money and he's playing in the Premier League. So this one might have been a stupid thing to do. And this is what our squad looks like on the 2nd of September. It's a terrible thing. But I've sorted this by where I'm training them. So this is basically, we have 2 players for every position, bar strikers where we only have, we're missing a striker. We're 1 striker short, which is not ideal. But we've got players who could play up there, like Edozie could be a striker. I believe Dibbling could probably get a game up front, Hutchinson, various things like that. So it's not the end of the world, but I would have liked to have had a 4th striker. Unfortunately, we loaned out Poulon, didn't we? So the goalkeeping options, obviously Restes is our number 1, Cannizaro is number 2, Trott will be our number 3. We've got right backs of Walker Peters and Vinicius Tobias. We've got Archie Brown and Manu Sanchez as our left backs. Central defenders, Esteve, Bednarek, Vitic and Barr. We've then got in midfield, this is where we're kind of a bit overloaded. We've got Morton, Dorsch, Perron, Andre Chotard and Shay Charles. Then on the right wing, I believe this is the right wing, we've got Fatawu and we've got Edozie. On the left, we've got Hutchinson and Dibbling. And up front, we've got Viper, Brozier and Adingra. Yes, Adingra has been moved up to be a bit of a striker. He's probably going to be playing a bit of both anyway, just in case they need him. So he's played on the wing a couple of times. But yeah, Adingra, we're going to make him a bit more of a striker, kind of because we need to. And this might be a terrible decision, okay? This squad is far too small. If we actually have a look at our dev centre as well, our under-21s has got 4 players, and none of them are any good. In fact, none of them even have any contracts. And in under-18s, we've only got 6 players as well. It's a stupid thing to do when you think this is the loan list. All of these players have gone out on loan, and we've only got 24. It might be 23 players in our first team. But let's not worry about that. Now let's worry about that when we get to January, and we might need to start recalling people. In the Premier League, we have started okay, I guess. We've got a win against Leicester, we've got a draw against Forest, and 2 defeats against Fulham and Arsenal. In the Europa Conference League, obviously, we have not kicked things off just yet, but we are into the group stage in the FA Cup as well, have not kicked things off. And in the Carabao Cup, we've been knocked out already by Chelsea in the 3rd round, a 2-1 defeat. But it's Chelsea, you kind of have to expect that. So you've probably already seen anyway, but these are the players that we're locking in for this season. So Vitic will be locked in defence because basically he doesn't always get put in there, and Dibbling will be playing on that left-hand side, which I don't know whether this is a good idea to lock in Dibbling anytime or now, but we're going to do it because I feel like Dibbling needs to get some more game time. He needs to improve, and the only way he can really do that is by actually playing. So let's jump forward to the 1st of January. Let's see how the start of the season has gone, and let's see whether basically not having a big squad might have been a bit of a problem when it comes to Europe. Yeah, it might have been. It might have been. 20 games in, so just over the halfway point for us. We've got 5 wins. West Ham, Spurs, Brentford, Newcastle, and obviously that Leicester win. 4 draws, all of them 1-1s. Everton, Leeds, Wolves, and Forest, and then 11 defeats. And they're all, I mean, some of them aren't awful. Like 1-0s here or there, but then we've got a 6-0 against Man City, 4-0 against Liverpool, 4-0 against Man United, 3-0 against Liverpool. The 1-0 against Fulham, we arguably shouldn't have lost that one considering they're down in 18th place. It probably wasn't the best decision to go with a small squad and try and basically fight on 2, maybe 3 fronts if we include the FA Cup. However, in the Europa Conference League, we have won the group. We've won 6 out of 6. We've beaten Dundee United, we've beaten Better Jerusalem, we've beaten PAOK, Zrinski, we've beaten Red Star, and we've beaten Victoria Pilsen of Poland? Is it Poland or Czech Republic? I think it's Czech Republic, isn't it? And we've won the Europa Conference League. Well, the group, anyway. And we've got Charlton in the FA Cup, which should be a winnable game. So, this is kind of a bit of a swings and roundabouts situation. We're not doing so well in the Premier League. We're doing very well in the Europa Conference League. We're not doing well in the Carabao Cup. We haven't really done anything in the FA Cup, have we? Are the board frustrated with me? This is the worry. They're satisfied. The supporters aren't satisfied because they want us to finish in the top half of the Premier League. Now, hear me out. Would you rather finish 14th in the Premier League and do really well in Europe, win a competition, win a trophy, win the FA Cup, win the Europa Conference League, or would you rather finish 9th and win nothing? I think the worry that I've had kind of has been shown here. So of the squad, everyone has played at least one game, bar Shea, Charles, Morton and Trott. Charles is our fourth choice ball-winning midfielder. Tyler Morton is basically kind of a similar situation when it comes to a deep line playmaker. So makes sense that they haven't played. Esteve's only played 4 times off the bench, which is a bit weird. Archie Brown has only played 15 times, all of them off the bench. I feel like we're forcing, or not forcing, but we're picking players maybe when we should be trying to do a bit of rotation. Obviously, Dibbling and Vitek will not be rotated, but I feel like players like Chotard should be playing some more games. Brown should be playing some more games, starting more games in particular. Anyway, transfer window time. Nothing has happened just yet. It is midnight on New Year's Day. We've got £104 million to spend. I think we might go and spend some of it because I feel like if we want to basically do well in the Premier League and maybe we can win the Europa Conference League, we might need to just basically get a little bit more depth in our squad. So let's jump forward to the end of the transfer window and let's see what we've done. 2 players have gone out on loan. John Hadley has gone to QPR. Not that this really makes any difference now. And Amari Hutchinson has gone to West Brom. That's right, I've made this squad even weaker by getting rid of another first-team player. I have loaned in Luke Gillum from Crystal Palace. Basically, I kind of went, we need a bit more backup up front, so let's just get anyone in who can kind of do a job off the subs bench if we need them to, and then I've dropped him to the under-21s. And that's because we've gone big and brought in 2 very, very good footballers. Anthony Gordon, first up, 26 years of age, signed from Newcastle. We brought him in for 15.75, possibly going a little bit higher, I believe. He basically wasn't getting any game time at Newcastle. He's obviously a left winger and can play on the right. Does this mean Dibbling might need to get dropped from the starting 11? Possibly, just to give Gordon the chance to get some game time. And I think this is probably the first unrealistic transfer that I've done in this Southampton save. We've signed Lamine Yamal. And we've signed Lamine Yamal because he was out of contract in the summer, and he's only cost us £22 million. We could have technically got him on a free if we waited until the summer, but because I think we're going to end at this save after Season 5, I wanted to get him in now. So £22 million for Lamine Yamal, this quality and ability is probably too good to turn down. I think we might need him to be a striker. I think we might need to retrain him to be a fully fledged striker, and that might be what we're going to do. And just looking at our squad, you can see it's a little bit bigger. Probably bigger than the 3, or technically 2, new players that have joined it, because we have recalled a whole bunch of players. Christian Goriev has returned from his loan at Göztepe because he's a good footballer and we're going to get him a bit more game time. Tyler Morton's obviously still here. Who else have we recalled? It's a couple of other people. Billy Barker is one. He was out on loan at Bristol City playing lots of football and we've recalled him. And we're going to lock him in on the left-hand side because I don't want Anthony Gordon to play for some reason. I don't know why I'm doing this, okay? We've also recalled Anis Poulon because we need another striker. I thought that was probably just a sensible thing to do there. I feel like there's others that have returned from loan spells as well, but I'm not quite sure who they are. But those are kind of the big ones. As you can see, we're locking in 2 players for the second half of the season. It is going to be Billy Barker on that left-hand side because he's done really well on the loan spells that he's had. And I kind of feel like he's done enough to break into the Premier League, so we're going to give him a try. And also, as our left-back, Archie Brown, I think is better than Manu Sanchez, but for some reason, they always play Manu Sanchez. So we're going to lock in Archie Brown as our left-back and let everyone else kind of pick who they want to pick. And let's just do best 11. So this is, in theory, what the best 11 is. So Walker-Peters and Adozie are the 2 players that are sort of missing out, I guess. We've got Rudy Barr. He's now one of our best defenders, which is a surprise to nobody because he's ridiculous. But Barr and Vitek in central defence is good. And it looks like Lamine Yamal might be kind of deployed on the right-hand side. Maybe on both wings, actually. But I am training him to be a striker. So, at the end of January then, we currently find ourselves 14th place in the Premier League, 26 points. We are far enough away from the relegation zone to not really worry about it, but we are quite a distance away from the rest of the teams in Europe, so I would love to close that gap. We're going to jump forward now to the end of the season. We are obviously still in the Europa Conference League. I'd love to climb up this table. I'd love to do well in the FA Cup as well. So let's see how well things go. I think I said well about 9 times then. Well. That's not ideal. We have finished 13th place in the table. And I'm fully aware, I've just said well a few more times. But we've qualified for the Europa League, which means we've won the Europa Conference League. We have won the Europa Conference League, a 4-2 win against Copenhagen in the final. Who did well? So we've got Viper scoring, Yamal getting 2 goals, Viper as well scoring another goal. So it was 2-0 up after 16 minutes. Delaney and Buxa then equalised eventually for Copenhagen before in the second half Yamal and Viper with the winning goals for us. And we've lifted a trophy. We have lifted a trophy. So we finished 14th in the league. We've literally, 13th, sorry. I don't think we've really moved much at all. We haven't. We moved up to 12th and then that back down to 13th. So we've barely moved at all in the league. But we have won the Europa Conference League. We got knocked out by Norwich in the 4th round. So we beat Charlton 5-0 and then lose 2-1 against Norwich in the FA Cup. Not ideal, but we've actually won a trophy. We've got a lovely little new trophy in the trophy cabinet. We've not got many of those as a Southampton fan. We've got the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, or the Johnson's Paint Trophy as it was when we won the thing. League One, we've got the FA Cup, and now we have a Europa Conference League as well. So just taking a look, Lamine Yamal then scored a total of 14 goals in all competitions, 6 of them coming in the Europa Conference League, obviously 2 of them in the final. I did actually change it so Yamal was locked in to be our striker for the second half of the season as well, because I feel like I just wanted to play in there, and he loves to score braces, doesn't he? 2 against Chelsea, 2 against Everton, 2 against VfB Stuttgart, 2 against Palace, 2 against Copenhagen. Nelson Wiper actually finished as our top goal scorer with 17, although again 6 of them coming in the Europa Conference League. How did Billy Barker get on? He's damaged his cruciate ligaments. Great. So he played 9 times for our scores, twice got a goal, got an assist, as well. 1 in the Conference League, 1 in the FA Cup, and 1 in the Premier League. Archie Brown, after getting locked in as our left back, did literally nothing. No goals or assists in the league. Maybe this wasn't a good idea. Our top goal scorer for the final season was actually Armando Broja, then 18 goals in all competitions. Just 2 assists. Does not want to help anybody else, does he? But 7, only 7 in the league. He scored more goals in the Europa League than he did in the Premier League, and he played twice the amount of games. Anyway, that is going to do it then for this Southampton save, this Southampton rebuild, I guess. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, do please remember to leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we will have another one of these, I think, before FM25 comes out in early 2025. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.